Hi, this is Simon Upstill and welcome to another tutorial for Apple Motion, and today I want to show you how to make this spiraling shards effect. Now, it's ridiculously simple to set up, but it does show you how much you can do with some very simple elements if you combine them in interesting ways. So let's take a look. Okay, so I'm going to go with 1920 1080, 25 frames a second and a duration of 10 seconds. So first thing I want to do is come down and grab the line tool, hold down the shift key and draw out a horizontal line like that. Let's be responsible and reset parameter so it's in the center. Doesn't actually matter, but it's always a really good habit to get into. Come over to the geometry and let's set this up to be negative 640 for point 1, 0 for the Y, 640 for the X and 0 for the Y. Very nice and tidy. So let's select white for the color. We're happy with the width of 10, but I want to change the brush type to airbrush. I want to come to the stroke. I want to open up the opacity over stroke, I should say. I want to click here and click here. So that's created two new tags. This one here, I'm going to set that opacity down to 0. This first one also opacity down to 0. This one here, opacity down to 25. And if we want to be very precise, let's set that location to 10. So we've got this fading line. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come to filters and distortion. And we are going to look for ring lens. And then we're going to set the radius to 640, the thickness to 0.5 and the refraction to 0.5. And then we get this rather interesting looking result. So then I'm going to open up the center. I'm going to target the Y. I'm going to add parameter behavior oscillate, and I'm just going to have an amplitude of 0.5. If we run that, you'll see we get a slightly oscillating effect like that. And now we can turn this into an emitter. So with the line selected, we're going to come to object and make particles. So for the shape, we are going to choose wave. We are going to set up the start and end points as follows. So negative 810 for that X start, 540 for that Y start, positive 810 for that X end, and negative 540 for that Y end. We're going to have an amplitude of 140 and a frequency of 5. Then let's come down here. We want 0 for the birth rate. Let's have an initial number of 250, but we're going to play with that later on. Let's have a life of 10, so it's long enough. We want no speed, and we want to turn on additive blend here. Oh, and also the key thing is we want to set this spin value to 50. Then we want to select color mode, pick from color range, and let's come to the menu here. And from the menu, let's choose Dawn Orange for the color. So now we're getting this. It's looking quite nice, but we're going to add two more filters. So first of all, we are going to come to masks and keying, and we're just going to drop on the Luma keyer, do nothing else with it. Already that's looking much more interesting because we're creating transparency there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to filters and blur and directional blur. We're going to set the angle to 90 and the amount to 256. And then we're going to set the mix value down to 30%. And what that's doing is it's giving us this nice sort of glowing effect. So there you go. That is actually the effect built very, very simply indeed. But as I say, we were going to come back to the emitter and play with this initial number. So we could go down to 125, and that gives this really nice sort of ghostly look. We could go up to 500, and it's looking much brighter and jollier. We could go up to 750, and it's looking really nice and punchy. And we could even go to 1,000 if we wanted. And that's really intense because obviously we're adding lots of instances in there. So really up to you when you want to go with there. You know, you don't have to stick with my color or any of that. But I just thought this was a really interesting, fun looking effect, just made really, really simply with a line and an emitter. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.